Hey everybody. In class today we worked on finding the simple interest, the amount of money you earn when you deposit some money in a bank account, or maybe you invest in something, or if you take out a loan, like if you need to buy a house or buy a car or pay for college. Tonight we're going to work on using that simple interest formula. Remember that formula is I, the interest, equals the principal, which is how much money you either borrowed or invested, times the rate of interest times the amount of time in years. And we're going to use that formula to find other missing numbers. Sometimes you might not always need to find the interest. Maybe you need to find the interest rate for an investment or a loan. And that's actually going to be our first example here. Example A says you deposit $600 into a 6-month certificate of deposit. A certificate of deposit is a type of investment that you can make in a bank. It's sort of like a type of savings account. So you deposit $600 into a 6-month certificate of deposit. After 6 months, the balance is $618. So it was worth $600, now it's worth $618. And we are trying to find the simple annual interest rate. Now this annual part is important because that means the interest rate per year. So to do that, let's identify the information we already have. Now, I know my principal P equals 600 because that's how much was initially invested. That's how much we put in at the beginning. That's the principal. I know the amount of time is 6 months. I have to be careful with this, though, because we're looking for the annual interest rate. We're talking about number of years here. So 6 months out of 12 months tells us how much of a year we're using, which is going to be 1/2, right? 1/2 of a year is how long it's been. We don't know the rate, the interest rate. That's what we're looking for. And we want to know the interest. And we can find the interest here because I know we invested $600 and it's now worth $618. So we can figure out how much money we've earned. $618 minus $600 gives us $18. So I equals 18. And now we can set up our percent formula, our equation. And we'll just substitute to do that. I equals 18 equals 600. That's P. We don't know what R is, so we'll leave that as a variable. And T is 6 over 12, or 1/2. Now, we can use this information to solve for R. One thing that we can do, since this is all multiplication on the right side, is we can rearrange it. 600 times 1/2 times R. That's called the commutative property of multiplication. As long as it's just multiplication on that right side, we can rearrange everything. Now, 600 times 1/2 is 300. So we have 300R. And now to solve this equation, all we have to do is divide by 300. This is just a one-step equation. Divide by 300. When we do that, we get 0.06 on the left side, and over on the right side these 300s cancel out and we have R left. So the rate of interest, R, equals 0.06. Now remember, we write this rate of interest as a percent. So our rate of interest becomes 6% after we move the decimal 2 places to the right here, 1, 2. In the last problem we found the interest rate, how much we're earning each year, but we can use this formula to find anything. We can use it to find the interest, the principal, the rate, or the time. In example B here, we're going to look for the amount of time. So it says you put $750 into a certificate of deposit, right? That's that type of savings account. Your simple annual interest rate is 4%. So this time we do know the rate. You receive a check for the interest at the end of the year. How long will it take you to earn $150 in interest? So let's set this up. We know our formula, right, is I equals P times R times T. And let's identify some information here. Now, it says how long will it take you to earn $150 in interest? So that tells us I right away. We actually don't even have to do any subtracting here. The interest we're looking for is $150. We know we originally put in $750. That's the principal. And we know the rate is 4%, and we're going to write that as a decimal, 0.04. is our rate. Now, we are looking for the time t. It says how long will it take. So that is actually what we do not know. So we have our four variables here, I, P, R, T, and we can just substitute them. So we have 150 equals 750 times 0.04 times t. And we'll draw a line through our equal sign. Now, when we simplify 750 times 0.04, that gives us 30. So we have 30t equals 150. And this is a one-step equation. All we have to do is divide. Undo that multiplication by using division. And we get t equals 150 divided by 30 equals 5. Remember, t we always measure in years. So this will take 5 years to earn $150 in this certificate of deposit, in this savings account. We're going to end with 4 final examples just to get a little bit more practice looking for the different types of numbers that we might have to find in these types of problems. So in number 1, we do not know what I is, right? We don't know what the interest is, but we know the principal, the percent, the rate, and we know the number of years. So let's set this up. We have I, we don't know what that is, so we'll leave that as a variable. And that equals the principal, 3,500, times the rate. We've got to write that as a decimal, so that's going to be 0.065. We have to move it 2 spaces to the left, times 5 years. So in this problem, all we have to do, since I is on the left side all by itself, we just have to simplify all that multiplication on the right. When we do that, we can do that just using a calculator. We get 1,137.5. So the amount of interest that we're going to earn is $1,137.50. In number 2, we know the interest, but we're looking for the principal. We also know the rate and the time. So we're just going to use all that information again to do the same thing. I equals P times R, that's 0.09, times T, the number of years. Now, in this case, we are going to have to do a little bit of solving for P. So we can simplify this over here on the right, 0.09 times 4, that's going to give us 0.36 times P. And we can solve this by just dividing by 0.36. Divide both sides by 0.36. And that gives us 5,200. So it tells us that our principal, the amount we originally invested or maybe borrowed, is $5,200. That's what we started with. In number 3, we have another problem where we're looking for the rate here. So we can set that up. We know our interest is $2,046.24. We know our principal is $3,654. We don't know the rate, and we know our time is 7 years. So this is another instance where I'm going to rearrange the right side. I'm going to write 3,654 times 7 times R. And when I calculate 3,654 times 7, I get 25,578 times the rate. And over here on the left, I still have 2,046.24. So now I just have to divide 2,046.24 by 25,578, and I get R equals 0.08. So that's my rate, and now I will write it as a percent. That equals 8%. And our final example for tonight, we're going to set this up the same way we've been setting them all up, using the formula, but we are looking for T this time. So we have 1702.80 equals 9,460 times 0.045 times t. So now we just have to do a little multiplication. 9,460 times 0.045, and that gives us 425.7 times t equals 1,702.80. And then we just have to do a little division. Divide both sides by 425.7, and we get t equals 4. So for t, the time, it will be 4 years to earn $1,702.80 in interest. All right, that's our final example. You can go ahead and finish up your notes and submit through Canvas, and I will see you all tomorrow.